Hello, everyone. Good evening. This is Freedom and Freelancing Live episode I Don't Know. And as usual, we are here on a Monday evening to have a weekly training. Remember the Q&A and the trainings are alternate in weeks. So this week we're going to have a weekly training. The next week we're going to have a Q&A. So this evening we're going to talk about how you can spot a fake guru. Interesting. We're going to steer the pot. We're going to steer the pot, guys. We're going to make an issue out of nowhere. Anyway, the importance of why we're going to talk about this is because in this era where a lot of content is online, a lot of people have the power to create their own videos, create their own content. Reality speaking or real talk, hashtag real talk. It's very easy for us to do that nowadays, and so we cannot really avoid people using that very advantage or the power of social media or the power of internet to spread things that doesn't really add value to our lives, and a lot of times to them it's not a bad thing, right? So even if it's already there, they're taking advantage of you face to face, they still don't think that it's a bad thing because to them they are entrepreneurs and they're not doing anything bad. But I would definitely disagree with that one because I feel like we need more real leaders, especially here in our country. I am trying the very best that I can to spread a couple of knowledge as your teacher, your online teacher. And I would like to help you in terms of spotting these people. Okay, so before we dive right into that, let me see what I have here for you. Of course, the announcements, as per usual, is that, ladies and gentlemen, to those who are interested in enrolling rather, in Create and Rise Academy, we are now open for everyone at any time. So, to people who wish to enroll, you can enroll at createandriseacademy.com. You need to take the training though. You need to take the training because we wish for you to be oriented first on what freelancing really is and how it can change your life before you are even eligible to enroll in Create and Rise Academy. So if you go here in createandriseacademy.com, you will first know or learn a training that I've conducted, and you're going to learn a lot from it. And before then, only then will you be able to decide really for sure if you wish to join us. Okie dokes. So without further ado, let us dive right in and steer the pot, make issues out of nowhere. We're going to talk about how to spot a fake guru. So, to the people who are watching, hi. How are you? Welcome to our very usual weekly live training. So, I'm not going to take this any longer. Let us dive right into it. The very first thing that you can use, or one way that you can spot a fake guru, is to look at their content if they have any, content, any type of video, any type of write up, social media platform, all these things, and see if they talk more about surface level motivation and or money, right? So a lot of fake gurus, what they do is they talk more about money. They talk more about surface level motivation, like you can really do it, or you would have the chance to do this, or like really like surface level motivation. There's no depth to it. You would know and understand that a post has more depth to it is of course it's more detailed, there's more step-by-step process, all these things, right? And then of course they talk about money a lot. They don't even talk about tactics, right? So when you are purchasing a course, for example, the very first thing that, of course, will make you interested is the tactics, the strategies that is being taught or are being taught inside the course. And as a person, for me as a mentor, you should be able to share some of those tactics in your free content, right? So when you are a teacher, when you are an online mentor or a coach, regardless of what you are offering as a paid course, you have to be able to share some of it, just a little of that in your free content, because that's part of your tactics and techniques. And a lot of times, your strategy or your secret tactics should be your part of your branding or your personal branding or your marketing, right? So when you are a teacher or a coach, you have your own specific strategy in whatever it is that you are teaching. So in my case, I'm teaching freelancing, right? And my tactic or my strategy is that we don't go out there looking for freelancing sites or registering to freelancing sites, or we don't find digital agencies to work for. We really get into our very own personal branding, build our own social media, find our very own clients in the internet, right? So that's basically what our tactics are. And we share that. We openly share that. The mentees will definitely share that with you as well, because that's something that we don't hide, right? So if a person does not talk a lot about their strategies and their tactics, they're all about fluff, you know, yung mga surface level motivation lang, yung mga pakieme-kieme lang na motivation. So you could tell that that might be one of the factors or one of the things that you can spot easily to know if the person is not a real guru. All right. Okay, next one is they run out of things to talk about. So with this one, it's pure, easy, and simple. If you are a coach, if you are a mentor, you have to have an expertise, right? So you have to have your specialty. Bakit ganon ang, bakit ganon ang side ng specialty? Di ba hard to sa Korean? What am I doing? Anyway, so you have to have specialties as a coach and a mentor. And if you cannot talk about that over and over again, if you don't have new angles and strategies of talking about that very specific expertise, you would run out of content to talk about, because either one, you're not really a master of the content that you're talking about. Two, you don't read that much in order to suffice your teaching, right? So if a person does not have anything to talk about in their content, you can tell very well that they're not an expert in their field. So that's already a red flag, right? Third, this is coming in fast, guys. If you have questions and clarifications, by the way, please let me know in the comment section so that I would be able to answer it. Okay, so third factor or third way of spotting a fake guru, ding 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 ding, is they don't know how to market themselves. So a lot of times we see fake gurus that does not even know how to market themselves, and they a lot of times share their live videos in someone else's Facebook group. So to me, if a person paid a lot of ads for that very group to be formed, I don't think that's business ethics. It's not ethical for you to just fish audience inside that Facebook group, because there's money, time, and effort that is created or spent in that very group to be formed, and it's not respectful to just jump in that group and fish audience for your live video or whatever promotion you are getting from. So if you do not know how to market yourself and you're trying to be a coach or a mentor, probably step back a little and try to understand marketing first, because that's completely important when you are trying to create an online brand. Okay? So again, guys, if you can see a person, like they don't know how to market themselves, or you're going to look at their social media and they don't really have a strong following, I would say. Like again, you would know that a personal brand, just like what I mentioned in my past live video about personal branding, you would understand that a person has solid marketing, content marketing, and ads, or whatever that may be. They have a solid marketing if they have true fans. When we talk about true fans, those are like the people that comments in their posts and say, hey, I really like this. Thank you so much for inspiring me, blah, 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 so on and so forth. You could see very well their comments are very genuine and they like being in that social media platform. They like consuming the content of that person because they've built a strong brand. If you don't see that from a person that is claiming to be a guru, may problema tayo dyan. Right? So there's that. So I was just going to talk about five ways to spot if a guru, but I somehow came up with another one, the last one, which is going to be a bonus, but that's for later. So that was the third one. They don't know how to market themselves. Let's go back to the very first one to recap since we're halfway through. First one, they talk more about surface level motivation and or money and barely about tactics. Again, if a person does not talk about his or her strategy when it comes to the things that he or she is teaching, that's a red flag. They might not really have a strategy in place. They're just trying to rule you in by sounding confident, all these things, right? Once they share their strategies on the things that they are an expert of, you can tell that they know what they're talking about, right? Pure, easy, and simple. Next, of course, is they run out of things to talk about. Just this is just a review for people who just came here. They run out of things to talk about. That's when people don't really have a mastery and expertise of the topic that they are teaching or mentoring or coaching. So there you have it. You can definitely tell if that person is a fake guru because they run out of things to talk about. They don't really consume or no, not they don't produce consistent content because they don't have anything to talk about. All right. So at least if you're a coach, you should have something, right? It's either an email list and you're sending them emails weekly or consistently, or you're publishing videos, or you're writing blogs, or you're producing podcast rather. So you have to have a consistent form of content, right? Okay, there. Fourth one, they don't know how to market themselves, as what I have mentioned. People who don't know how to market themselves and claim to be coaches and gurus, especially in the marketing field, they would tell you, like, I'll teach you how to become a millionaire, or I'll teach you how to build a six-figure whatever, and then you could tell that their engagement and their social media page, they don't even have huge following, right? So how can you teach someone how to make money if you don't even know how to market yourself, right? That's one thing that you have to consider. No person in the make money online niche, no person should coach someone or something about marketing if they don't even know how to market themselves, or they don't even have, at least a proof that they have built a brand. Yung mga solid brand talaga where they have following and all. Okay, next is they only show up when it's time to sell something. Okay, so this one is a huge red flag for me. I have seen it quite a bit where someone just pops up when they are trying to sell something. That to me is unfair because you are there to only get people out from your student group when it's time for you to sell whatever product you're selling. That to me is unfair because when you are out there as a public figure, as a leader, as a speaker, as a teacher, you are supposed to teach people even if they haven't paid you anything. So, of course, your students are going to get premium advice. They're going to get like really hands on teachings. That's for sure. But even if the people who did not pay you, they are supposed to get you they are supposed to get something from you. Even if it doesn't mean anything, or even if you don't get anything from them, people who cannot afford your course, they are supposed to get something, right? So I think that's only fair because you're called to teach. You have something you can share to the world. Why don't you share it? Do you have some sort of like Bard's hold, right? So I don't think that's fair. Okay. Next, this one, they try to come up with new things all the time to look like they're creating progress. This to me is very obvious as well because there are so many people that are this is because these people who are always creating new things or coming up with new pakulo, the usual thing that's happening is because they don't really have real progress in their own business. That's why they're trying to sound in social media like they're always coming up with something new. Okay? So be very wary of that. I think that it's a little obvious, you know, when a person spreads himself or herself all over the place, they have like multiple social media platforms, multiple courses, multiple, you know, like just multiple everything. Be wary of that, because a person, again, has to have an expertise. If you're a real guru, you have to have an expertise. When a person mentions your name, they should know very well who you are, what you do, and how often do you show up, right? So that's really like solid branding, right? But if you're just trying to come up with new things all the time and people don't even know what you're doing, they just know, oh, she's a mentor or he's a coach and all these things. And they don't even know what you're doing, really, like what you're coaching or what you're mentoring. That's a red flag. Okay? Because all successful people, even if, for example, let's say Bill Gates, right? When Bill Gates became successful, it was just one thing. He was known for Microsoft. Same thing with Steve Jobs. When he got successful, he was only known for one thing. That's Apple, right? Jeff Bezos, when he becomes successful, he only became successful for one thing. That's Amazon, right? Not necessarily one stream of income, because of course a person can have multiple streams of income. But I'm saying, if you're marketing yourself, if you're doing some sort of like personal branding, you have to be known for something. Period. Okay? So at least your messaging has to come clear. Okay. Right. Next is they call themselves by labels they didn't even really do in real life. This is the bonus, by the way. They call themselves by labels they didn't even really do in real life. I am not going to come clean. I once told myself that I was a graphic designer and I'm only using like paint or something, right? So that was when I was in high school. I told my teacher that, oh, I know how to do graphic design, but really I was just using Microsoft Paint. That's a really extended analogy, but you know what I mean, right? We have people there claiming they're entrepreneurs but haven't even sold one product in their entire life. Why? Right? So this also is a call out to people who are let's see, I'm not going to call names, you know, but if you're that person, please don't do that, right? So call yourself by a label. This is why I hate labels. Ugh. When someone tells me like, what's your slogan for your branding, or like, what do you call yourself, like what's the tagline you have or something, and I'm like, I'm just a teacher, that's it. Because I don't like to be called like founder of Creators Academy, although for legal purposes you have to say that, especially in banks, you know, when you are opening a credit card account, for example, in the bank, they're going to ask for your employment status. So of course I'm gonna have to say a founder of Creators Academy, but that to me is like, ew. But you know, going back to the topic, ladies and gentlemen, there are people out there, of course, that are calling themselves this and that, but they're not really that type of people. Because how easy it is to tell yourself that you're an entrepreneur, but you haven't really sold any type of product, right? Be wary of that. Ask for testimonials. This is where it gets real cut, because there are people that are claiming to be someone or something, and they don't even have anything to show you, right? I think that you have every right as a consumer. So let's remove the the overlays. I think that you have every right as a consumer to know what that person is really doing, right? It's not simply being an intruder and wanting to know more about their personal life, but what I'm talking about is if they have really garnered results for other people, if they have gotten people towards results, then that means they're a real guru, right? But if they're only what they claim to be, and you cannot even see like real testimonials, right? Like avid raving fans that would tell them like, "Oh my god, like this person is really real, like she's amazing, blah blah." Or he's so awesome. He told me not to do this and I did it and it really changed my life, right? So be wary or be very speculative, I would say, with the testimonials that people have, because that's how you can tell that they're really legit, is if they've really garnered results for other people. They have gotten people results because they taught something to those people. Those people applied it and then it changed their life. All those things, right? Now, of course, it's a little harder if the label is something that you cannot have. What do you call this? Like, you cannot see the testimonials right away. For example, everyone can say that they're an entrepreneur, but they haven't even sold one product in their entire life. How are you going to check that? Number one, look at their social media profiles, right? So what I do a lot of times, meron po yata akong NBI alter ego. So what I do is when I'm buying courses from people that I haven't heard from before, right? That's a red flag for me, because if I did not know you, that means that you don't know how to market yourself, right? So if you don't know how to market yourself, how are you going to teach me how to do marketing? Because I buy a lot of marketing courses, right? So you and uy, what happened to my microphone? Sandali lang. To me, if I don't know you, and for example, yan, I came across your course rather with an ad or through a Facebook group, then of course I'm going to check your social media account to make sure that you're legit, right? And then what I do is I go to their Facebook page first and foremost, because if you're a business, you have to have a Facebook page. Okay? A lot of this is one thing that I wasn't really happy about with the bookkeepers. A lot of bookkeepers here in Cebu, they don't really have a lot of Facebook pages. So I had a hard time looking for one. But again, if you're a business, you have to have your very own Facebook page. And at least, if you don't have your Facebook page, at least have a personal account that caters to those people who wish to know more about your business. Because that's the second thing that you need to have after a website. So if you don't have a website, you have to have what? A Facebook page, or at least a social media account where I can learn more about your business, right? So that's what I do. And a lot of times, I would see a lot of social media platforms, especially like Facebook pages, where there isn't really a lot of engagement. Then I would become even more skeptical. Because again, that's another red flag. That means you don't know how to market yourself. Uh, so, how are you going to teach me marketing if your Facebook page engagement is low and you only have like 2 likes out of like 200,000 followers? I'm like, what is happening here? Like, that to me is a red flag, right? So, after that, when I've already checked their engagement in the Facebook page, what I do next is, if for example that person has a strong following or they have like raving fans that comments in their content, all those things, then of course I'm a little convinced that hey, this person might be legit because they have a raving following, right? Or raving fans basically. So that automatically would allow me to go to the page that talks about their course and screens the information of the course, if it's beneficial for me or not. That's what I do, right? So what happens if that person does not really have a following, or let's say does not really have a raving fans? Because it's also a little difficult to really get to that level where you have like raving fans. That means you have to have a consistent content marketing, content creation. You have to be like what I'm doing, be on live every week. You have to have like videos, you have to have like podcast, all these things, or like any social media platform that they have. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Facebook page. What if they're more active on Instagram? Like for example, Joy Spring, she's more active on Instagram, right? So to those people who does not know who do not know who Joy Spring is, she's the host of the podcast Adulting, right? So I listen to her podcast a little, not a lot. But she's really good, and she's more active on Instagram than anywhere else, and on YouTube too. She's active there. So there. Facebook pages might not be it, so you can search their other social media accounts and see if they have a raving sort of following somewhere. And if they do, then that means, that they're legit. Because, of course, no people will follow someone whose content's not good, right? So you can't just say, nah, they have a lot of following, but if they don't have like people really engaging to each post, there's something in there. Because you can spend a lot of money on ads, a lot of money on paid advertising per se, but if you cannot maintain the engagement of any of your social media platforms, that means something. Okay? That means either one, your content's not really good, two, your content's just not interesting, three, I don't know what happened. So just be very careful with that as well. So after that, after I check their social media accounts, a lot of the times I'm always convinced, because it's either they don't have an active Facebook page, but they have a really good YouTube channel where I can just watch videos like, oh, this content is really good. I also check their content. Before I buy any course, especially if it's a video lesson course, I would definitely go on YouTube to check their videos, because a lot of times I can see how they talk. I can see with like how can I vibe with that person. It's important to me to buy courses in which the mentor or the coach is actually someone that I can vibe with. Kasi kapag hindi, it's very hard for me to learn. Like, I'm just not going to focus. Like, your content might be good, but if I cannot vibe with you, if your personality and my personality just doesn't match, mahirap. It won't motivate you to finish the course, right? So I, of course, check their content, right? So after that, if you still haven't found any type of content from that person, that's not, okay, so that's already a red flag, right? And again, even in terms of content, there are people, again, because we are in an online era where it's very easy to publish a video, it's very easy to publish a podcast, very easy to write something, publish it on social media. The power of the internet is insane. And while it helps a lot of us, it also is detrimental to everyone else who are consumers, right? I am a consumer myself. I'm very particular with this. So you have to also examine their content aside from that, right? So when you have already examined their content, you've seen that they have a couple of videos, listen to those videos and see if they really are talking about tactic, right? If they're talking about strategies, if they're talking about, like how they're teaching their people inside their student group, if you have seen their students interacting in the comment section, if you have seen people defending him or her when something happens, that person is a real guru, right? Otherwise, of course, you already know that that's not true. Okay? You already know that that person's a red flag. All right? Okay. If you have questions and clarifications and violent reactions, sana walang violent reactions. Oh my God. Let me see, or please type them in the comment section, because I wish to answer them for you. And of course, I'll try my very best to answer them while I have the time. So I thought I was just the reason why I somehow just went through all of those 6 is because I thought that it was going to be a short live video, kasi masakit po ang ulo ko. For some reason, I think it's very cold in here where I am right now, and sometimes it's giving me a headache. So, akala ko masakit ang ulo ko. So, before the live video, I drank something like Advil para medyo mahimasmasan si Ati. And, well, we're already 30 minutes in, and I'm just going to answer your questions. Okay, but before that, let us first go to the recap. Ding, 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 ding. Okay, So, recap first of what we talked about today. Number one, how can you spot a fake guru? They talk more about surface level motivation and or money and barely about tactics. That's actually wrong grammar right there. I don't proofread my stuff. Okay, next, they run out of things to talk about. Again, it's very important for a guru to master his or her expertise. If they cannot talk about it for a longer period of time, you know that there is something wrong with it. They might not really have strategies to share with you, hence, don't buy their course, please. Next, they don't know how to market themselves, especially if you are buying a course that teaches you how to market themselves or herself or you, whatever person you are. So, of course, if they don't know how to market themselves, they're only using other people's Facebook group to market their products and other things that they're promoting. Don't buy their courses, please. Sure. Next, they only show up when it's time to sell something. This to me is unfair. All right. So again, regardless, I feel I am very strong with this that even if these people cannot afford your courses, you have to give them something, right? You have to at least be able to give more value to the world, regardless if they, give you their money or what, right? You have to be able to give them something that is of great value because, again, you have the knowledge to do something that other people cannot do. Right? So it's good to share your talent, your knowledge, and your abilities to other people, regardless if they're giving you their money or not. The way you're going to do this is, of course, you divide the content. Your premium content has to be for your students, of course, because they paid you for that. But the people who cannot afford your course, they still have to be taught something, period. Okay? So if that person only shows up when it's time to sell something, okay. Next is they try to come up with new things all the time to look like they're creating progress because in real life, their business does not create any progress. Hence, they try to spread themselves thin. They're always in a lot of places, a lot of social media platforms, multiple social media platforms, multiple courses, multiple so and so. That is just driving them insane. So if you can see this, be wary. At least don't judge them at the first time you're going to see this because a lot of business people, they really tend to spread themselves thin. They try to test one business idea from another and another business idea and another business idea because they are scared to fail. So this might be a red flag for a lot of fake gurus out there, but also take time to understand that business people, they tend to spread themselves thin. Okay? So it might be just part of their, they're scared of failing, right? So you also need to consider that. But again, if they're trying to like make progress and just try to like, do these things just to let people think that there is some sort of progress that's happening in their business and in their life per se, please. Okay. Last but not least, the bonus of the 5 ways to spot a fake guru. Ladies and gentlemen, they call themselves by labels they didn't even really do in real life. Okay? So of course, we have entrepreneurs who haven't sold any product in their life. There's that. Okay, there you have it. That's my take on how to spot fake gurus in 6 ways. Originally it was 5, but for some reason I came up with 6, so I'm just going to give it to you. Okay, there you have it. Questions and clarifications? Put them in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going to answer that tonight. Okay. Let's see. Teka. Go back to the first comment muna ako. Ayan. Ang lipstick daw agad ang napansin ni Christina. Christina, okay lang yan. Minsan ako, uy guys, I really realized this is funny. The reason why I'm wearing like lipstick and trying to be presentable in videos already, because I don't know, did I mature or something? I feel like my old videos back in the day where I just didn't really like wear anything, like no makeup, no nothing. I thought that was my way of like being like, yo, I'm so simple. Like I'm just I'm just doing my thing here. I'm just going to come to you guys and just teach you something. But really, I really look horrible. So I was like, yep, you're going to put that video there. It's going to last you a lifetime. People are going to see your very, very, very old videos and they're going to look at you and be like, yo, you don't really wear lipstick back in the day. Yo, you don't really look good. So, you know, parang nag-mature konti. Okay, there. Let's see if you have questions. Future woman version of Cristo. Nakaka-flatter naman. Grabe, future woman version of Cristo daw sabi ni Nathan. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Okay. Sige. Let's see. Joy the Jesus has a question. Is it okay to stick to Facebook to market yourself, or do you need to have IG also? And for IG, is it okay to have a separate account from your personal one and to your business one? So, Joy, I think that when you are starting out as an entrepreneur, or if you're wishing to build your very own personal brand as a freelancer or as a coach, you have to ensure that you're starting with one platform muna. Okay? So one platform muna, and then you try to test if organic marketing works for you. It also depends kasi on what your goal of is. So, of course, when you have a Facebook platform that you wish to build your audience with, you are going to identify what type of content you're going to produce. So, to start, you only need one, right? So, for example, you're either debating whether it's Facebook or IG. So think about what you're good at. Are you good on videos or are you good in on photos? Because IG is all about photos and carousel. Or are you good in creating graphics? Because if that's the case, then IG will definitely be the place for you to build your brand. If you're like me, where I like videos, I like to talk all the time, so it's either a podcast or a video that I'm going to be good at. So that's why I chose Facebook, because mainly I like Facebook a lot. It's not really as good as it was back in the day when I was still using it the first time, but it's my convenience platform. Like the very first thing that really comes to my mind is like Facebook. But of course, I'm also extending my my powers now to YouTube because it's another video platform. So to start, you can only start with one platform and then pick your content pillar. You can either do video, audio na nga, podcast pa. So podcast or blog, you can do that on Facebook, diba? So written content is also very convenient on Facebook. So you can do that. And then once you have built that audience already from Facebook, then it's easier for you to transfer them for their convenience in another platform. So a lot of people are like asking me like, do you have videos on YouTube? Because I like to watch videos on YouTube better, because a lot of times it's connected to their smart TV. So me extending my videos to another platform is not for me, but for the people who are watching, because it's a convenience for them. But I don't really like want to like build a brand that's separate on another platform. It's the same brand, it's the same people that's watching, it's just for their convenience. And if other people find me on YouTube as well, that's good, right? But that's not really my main goal, because I already built that brand in that very one social media. Okay, so it's like hitting two birds with one stone. Not only is it convenience for my initial audience, but also other people can find me in other platforms as well. So to start, you would want to have just one, right? And then later on, you can expand to other places or other platform. Ayan! I hope that made it clear. Shayeen is asking, can I use my personal account as the business page? Hindi rin naman po ako active for personal use. Yes, of course. There's better reach actually. If you are using your personal account on Facebook, there are better reach. It can reach more people than you can on a normal Facebook page, because the thing with Facebook pages is, of course, Facebook wants you to pay for it, right? They want you to run ads because that's the way that they can make money. But if you're only using your personal account, of course, you can reach more people, right? You can reach more people on a personal Facebook account. And the only thing is, you can't sell anything in your personal account because they can shut your personal account down. So with the business page, you can sell anything there, no problem. They don't really care about that, but their reach is low. But if you're going to switch to a personal account, personal Facebook account, the reach is high, but you cannot sell anything, right? You can just like slowly create content there, but you cannot really link a lot of things like personal. They check that kind of stuff. So there. Okay. Let's see. Mm-hmm. Um Is it okay? Ayan, Edlin Pamitan. Is it okay to make my own brand as a freelancer para maka-offer ka ng service, 'di ba? Ay, I'm confused, or your full name na lang. Okay. So you're talking about building your brand name as a freelancer to offer your service. So you can either do your full name or you can create your very own brand name. Okay. So it's really up to you. It's not, in my case, I just use my name initially because I think that's easier for other people to remember. Just for me, huh? But of course, my mentees have done other things. Like they've really built their very own like names for their brand, which I think is nice, right? They have their very own business names and all. Okay. Let's see. Pinkett Aubrey Gaetano. Diba? Complete name talaga, you know? How to be confident and sound relatively fluent and articulate speaking in English lang. Well, firstly, it cannot happen overnight. You have to have realistic expectations. If you really want to have a really good pronunciation, you have to work for it. And everything is developable. So when you see someone that has a really good pronunciation and diction, it's easy to imitate those people, right? It's easy to practice because practice makes permanent. Char. That's a quote that I got from one of my friends, but that's not good. It's the way you do it if you really want to become a fluent English speaker is number one, you watch English movies only. Stop mo ng K-drama, okay? So, sa mga mahilig mag-K-drama dyan, mamaya na po yan. Kung gusto niyo po talaga maging magaling ng English, mamaya na po yung mga Tagalog movies, mamaya na po yung mga K-drama. Unahin muna natin yung mga Hollywood movies because that's how you can listen well to proper pronunciation and diction. Okay? And I'm not perfect on it either. So, I may be able to pronounce words well, but my grammar is also tumbling. Kasi I'm really having a hard time with prepositions. So you can tell that sometimes I stutter when I'm speaking or when I'm saying something that has a lot of prepositions on it, right? So there. Apart from that, confidence kasi is just familiarity. So you are not confident about something, it's because you're not familiar about that very activity, right? So when you say you're not confident about speaking in English, that's because you haven't familiarized the process of speaking and you're not familiar with it yet. That's why you can say you're not confident with it yet. Okay? So confidence is just familiarity. If you want to be confident with something, of course, you have to do it a lot. Okay? And apart from that, get yourself a person that is a native English speaker. It's very easy nowadays to do that. I'm not saying you go in a relationship with foreigners, no. But what I'm saying is that talk to someone who has really good English. So if you cannot find anyone that is a native English speaker, try talking to someone who has a really good English. Even in chat, it really helps. It helps a lot. Your communication skills will really boost if you talk to someone in English, right? You have friends, I know very well. You have friends that are very smart and they talk in English a lot and you always judge them. So, apart from that, if you wish to become good in English, don't judge people who talks in English, right? If not, become inspired of how they talk because that's how you can become good is when you judge others less. Okay? Ayan. So I hope that is a sound advice, Pinkett. Pinkett. Ang cute ng name. Pinkett. Pinky. Mommy Pinky. Okay, Yana is asking, pwede po ba mag-enroll anytime? Yes, darling. You can enroll anytime now in createandriseacademy.com. Just go through the training there and you will have what it takes to be the next America's Next Top Model. Charet! Joke lang. There you have it. Okay. Catch Cafe, do you have a portfolio? Yes, my old portfolio is still available. You can go to demibernice.com. Ito na naman yung mga prepositions ko, no? At and to. Demibernice.com, you can see there my past works. Ayan. Okay. When did you start using paid ads to reach more potential clients? How did you know it was the right time? When it comes to freelancing, I did not use any paid ads because at that time where I was freelancing, wala akong pera, as in like zero. Wala talaga akong pera, as in zero, zero. Tapos may utang pa akong 45,000 pesos. So there was no way for me to spend money on ads, or I just didn't really understand ads that time. Kasi when you're running ads, nababawi talaga siya eh. If you know what you're doing, you can spend money on ads and it will come back to you twice or thrice, depends on how good you are at it. But I did not use any paid ads on my freelancing career because I just looked for my clients online. But if you're talking about me running ads on my Facebook page, it started when I was already earning 100K a month in freelancing. So, di ba, medyo nakaluwag-luwag na. So, I paid my debt, my 45,000 pesos, and I made sure that I wasn't in debt at anything. Yun muna yung inuna ko before I even start running paid ads. And by the time I started running paid ads, I didn't even know what I was doing. Like, I had no idea why should I be running paid ads or where to run it or who to target or all these things. So I just kind of like did it myself. So I did that for a while by myself until my boyfriend started to help me with it. So that's when we grew, is when he came here and truly helped me with the paid ads, because I'm not really good at that. Like, I'm good at teaching, probably. I can tell you things, I can teach you stuff, but technical stuff, hindi ako yun. I'm not very a techie person. So I may solve my own problems in terms of tech, but I'm not the type of person who can teach you the technical stuff. But that's when I started using paid ads. Is last year of parang April 2019, I think, is when I started running paid ads. Okay, there. Pika Pikachu. Ang ganda ng name. Paano po mag-rate ng service like sa video editing? Kasi may mga nag-asa akin pagawa ng video pero di ko po alam magkano po ang sisingilin ko. Okay, so this one po kasi, it has a lot of variables. When you're pricing a specific service or a skill, it has a lot of variables that you need to consider. Number one, your experience. Gaano ka kagaling or gaano katagal ka na gumagawa ng videos, you have to take account for that. If you're beginner, intermediate, advanced, or expert, you have to account for that in your pricing. Second one, how long does it take for you to create a video? Right? So, depende. Of course, kung gaano kataas din ang video, that would also vary. Right? So, when you are asking a rate about a service, there's no specific parang bracket. I cannot give you a specific bracket because I don't know what your experience is. I don't know what the quality of your work is. That's another thing. That's another variable that you need to consider, is the quality of your work. Kasi kung hindi ka masyadong magaling in video editing, of course, you can't really charge high for that. Right? So, you might just know basic video edits, tsaka ini-edit mo lang siya sa mobile phone, so medyo low ang resolution, so hindi ka masyadong makakapag-charge ng malaki. So, there are a lot of variables that you need to ensure when you are asking for a rate of a specific service. Tapos, magdedepende din kung client mo is local or international. Of course, if your client is local, you can't really charge high. Diba? Kasi there are Filipinos that will haggle your rate. I mean, there are also Filipinos that are very much willing to pay you for what you're worth, but a lot of times it's just our culture that we haggle people if we feel like it's just too high for us, right? So there, I hope that makes sense. Let's see, Mitzi Torrevillas. Miss Demi, how can I possibly cleanse my personal FB account for business purposes? You can't really cleanse, especially if you are, let's see, if you have been using that Facebook for a long period of time, it's going to take you forever. For example, if you have been using your Facebook account for a long time, as in like you started using it when you were 10 years old, let's say 2010, right? So you started using Facebook 2010. That's a lot of content that you need to cleanse. It's just completely impossible. So what I do is I just turn a lot of albums private. So a lot of your photos has to be private, or it can be changed to a privacy setting that says only me, so that ikaw lang yung nakaka-access nun. That I think is important. Also, start posting something new. Like if you wish to turn your personal account for for business purposes, start posting something about business that's related about business. Okay, this day forward. Of course, you can't anymore like do something about what happened in the past. That's like a really good analogy right there. Yung mga nangyari nung time na wala ka pang kamalay-malay na gusto mo pala talagang mag-business, wala nang kanlaman yung ibang tao dun. So all you have to do is just to really do the best that you can moving forward. Okay? Okay, there you have it. Okay. My confidence. Okay. All right. So again, Mitzi, yun lang yung ma-advise ko. You can't really do. It will take you so much time if you're going to try to delete each one. So this has also been a struggle for me. Just to share a little bit of my part of the story. We're already 53 minutes in. Ang dali naman. I was not going to make my Twitter account public because I rant a lot. Okay. I rant a lot. I don't really put that in my Facebook page because, of course, I'm going to offend a lot of people if I do that. So if you're going to wish to follow me on my Twitter account, just be sure that, you might get offended a lot, because a lot of the things that I express on my Twitter account are definitely like Frank worthy. Like they're all very straightforward. So that's who I am really in real life, right? And I do that also in a lot of my videos, just that I'm not very comfortable of being judged in public. So that's why I was thinking of not making my Twitter public. But then my boyfriend interfered, and he said that, well, you can't really do anything that's already happened in the past, but that's who you are as a person. The people who's going to follow you, or the people who are going to, engage with your content, are the people who are very much willing to listen from you, regardless if you have some bad days, right? So that to me was a good convincing that I made my Twitter public. Okay. Phoebe Lim. Do I have to register my freelance name different from my actual name at DTI? The one that is registered in your DTI is actually your business name, and you can have multiple brands there as long as it's under the same business descriptor. Okay, so here's what's happening. In DTI, we are registered as Strive for Excellence. And then we have a brand that is Create and Rise Academy. Okay, and soon we're going to have a new brand. I can't tell you yet, but because I'm not sure about it yet. But it's the same. It's the same business descriptor. It's still an online course, right? It's still an online course program. So anything that is similar to the business descriptor can be another brand, and only when it's a different brand or it's a different business, it's a completely different industry, that you need to get another DTI name. Okay, so I hope I make sense. We're already 55 minutes in. Let's see if I can answer 2 more questions. Okay. Jeff, do you recommend finding jobs in LinkedIn, or may mga scammers din ba sa LinkedIn? Sorry, but to the people who are raving about LinkedIn, to me, LinkedIn has been a pitch party. Pitch party meaning, puro lang pitching. Kasi if you add people as your connection, a lot of times they message you about their business. And that to me is a big turnoff. Like I cannot even be peaceful with my inbox there because everyone just pitches something. So there are jobs in LinkedIn. Yes, you can definitely find jobs there, but there are also scammers. And it has just been a pitch party. Like to me, kapag kung nagme-message ka lang all the time to promote something, to me, that's not cool. Like I didn't want to be in LinkedIn just to be promoted with the product. Like that's not what I'm here for. So that's what LinkedIn is for me. So other people might have different opinions, but I'm not using LinkedIn that much too. So you might consider a second opinion. Last question we have: if VA freelance, what example of service can we offer for pro bono clients to get testimonials? So, VA freelancing, when you are a virtual assistant, you can do a quick task for them. So, each person or each business client has some sort of a task that is hanging right now at this moment that they cannot even, you know, get their hands on because they're just extremely busy. So you can do that for them. Just that one task or 2 or 3 tasks. You can do that. So count the tasks that you have done. You can do that as your pro bono and then you can ask for testimonials. But don't do like a 1 week task of something. Don't do that. So just count tasks. Like I can do 5 tasks for you or I can do 3. 3 would be really good, or just one. One, because a lot of clients also are thinking about what tasks they can give you that has to have or that consumes a lot of time, right? So there are people that are like that would take advantage of your free service. So do that. Okay. And of course, if you're going to do pro bono clients, make sure you have terms and conditions in place. Don't just randomly go there, randomly go to a battle without sword and weapons. Okay. Alrighty, so we are 58 minutes in, you guys. There are still a lot of questions, but I cannot answer all of them because we only have 1 hour left, or 1 hour for this video, rather, 1 hour left. Ano yun, mamamatay? Okay, so there you have it. Thank you so much for spending your time with me tonight here in Freedom Freelancing Live. We are going to see each other again very, very soon. Preferably next week because I'm going to record modules for Create and Ross Academy this week. So I'll be off with surprise live videos like what I did 2 days ago. But I hope you liked that one. That was like very authentic of me to just go out there and talk about, stuff that I learned. I really like being in a moment and just randomly going live, right? Okay, so there you have it. Thank you so much again for your time. I'll see you when I see you. Thank you so much, and be updated on the Facebook page to know more about business, marketing, and freelancing.